I watched a horrible video on YouTube.
Oh.
And so I thought I'd subject all of you to bits and pieces of the information that's held within it, because it's really one of those bits where it exposes that side of the internet that we all know exists and is very, very dark and seedy and perverted, but we don't often want to look into. Right. But it's important to be aware of this stuff, not only because it's an acknowledgement of the darker sides of human nature and the fact that the internet has unleashed a lot of this onto a much more public platform than these people ever had before, but also for the well-being and safeguarding of children.
Harry really said, I browsed the dark web, so you don't have to.
No, I did not. This was a YouTube
I've
video.
I've seen the same YouTube video that Harry has, actually.
Yes,
you're telling me about it yesterday.
Sit through it.
I actually had to stop and come back to it because it was so bad, which I have quite a strong stomach, and for something to be that disturbing, it takes a lot.
Yeah, but the internet has become a place where people can platform to the public their own disgusting fetishes, and I think it needs to be highlighted here because if you've got children, you should be aware that this stuff is out there, and you need to try to make definitive steps to prevent your own children from being exposed to this, or God forbid, being victimized by it. First, you should buy some merch on the website. Bit of a tangent, but we've got the merch available still. The Islander merch that we have right now is becoming very limited. I think we're nearing the end of our stocks of it, so get it while you still can.
That's my favourite t-shirt of the lot, by the way. I wear that a lot. It reminds me of a skate brand t-shirt and reminds me of being a teenager. Brings me back to my youth.
A very, very, very long time ago now.
We're almost the same age, Harry.
Exactly, you're ancient. Almost is doing a lot of heavy lifting there, Josh.
A year apart.
Yeah, I can hear your back creaking. Anyway, so one of the problems of the internet is that you don't always know who you're speaking to on the other side, and this is a problem for a long time. Now, there is a more innocent side of adults pretending to be kids, which is highlighted in this Vice article from 10 years ago, where there's the habit of adults to try and say, look, my kid said this wacky thing, or my kid said this inspirational thing, and everybody clapped. Yeah. So that they can try and get likes and try and pretend that, the wisdom of youth springs eternal.
Gosh, I remember Danny Wallace.
Yeah, I know. It's a while back now, isn't it? But, of course, there is the very dark side of this, which is people trying to groom your children online. Groom in the more traditional sense of it. They pretend to be children. They get in touch with other children online so that they can try and get that relationship started, and then they can try and exchange images, or, God forbid, meet up in person, and it's disgusting, and it is a thing that happens.
So I saw something on this recently. They created an AI profile, I think it was on Instagram, and the amount of groomers and pedophiles that were just straight in the DMs of this profile, I think it was like a 12-year-old girl or something that they created on AI, just everyone was launching on, but Meta doesn't do anything to kind of protect or censor or filter it. It just almost becomes a promoter for these people.
Yeah, so there's a YouTube channel which I've been introduced to because it went, some of these videos went a bit viral recently, called Nick Crowley, who looks into this darker side of the internet. And it's really shocking to me as somebody who, I never went on any of those gore sites when I was a child. I never looked at Live Leaks or any of those websites personally, because I knew that I wouldn't like what was on there. So I avoided it. But it's always part of that knowledge in the back of my head that this sort of stuff is out there and people do really, really horrible and messed up things. So one of the videos that I became aware of through this was Pipergate, which has almost 6 million views. And to give a brief description of this and what was going on here was that there were multiple YouTube channels called things like Piper Rocks, Isabel Piper, that were all connected and presenting the same very strange, very disturbing edits that featured images of children which had been taken from very small YouTube channels being run by children that had very few subscribers. And the person running these channels was pretending to be an 10, 11-year-old girl called Piper. And let me see if I can get some of the footage up here. And it's very messed up. Let me just mute this. So some of these weird footage. Very strange. Just
This is
very abstract.
This is a real girl.
This is a real girl that somebody has taken images of from their own YouTube channel or from videos that were already available online and decided to start editing them into strange and disturbing scenarios.
I see.
Some of them very sexual, some of them very creepy, lots of zombie stuff. And again, this was all while pretending to be a 11-year-old girl themselves, whoever was running this. So you can see kids playing patty cake in dilapidated buildings, use of footage from, I think that's a kids' TV show, weird edits like this, where the Joker is there. And you can see that they were also eventually putting on a voice and saying, oh, this is my voice, here's me editing in the woods. Let me see if I can get the time here. It's 7 minutes and 46. Let me play this for you.
My video, which was the first time that Piper would reveal her voice.
Hi guys. Well, I was editing some of my videos and I forgot and left the camera on, so thought I'd upload it and show you guys. Hope you like it.
That's equal parts
See
creepy,
you
equal
later,
parts lame.
baby.
It does not sound like a young girl.
Well, yes, exactly. And it looked as though the man who was doing this might have pitched the voice up using an audio filter by 2 octaves or something. So people started to investigate this because it turned out there was about 6 or 8 other channels posting the same kind of content, some which had been made as recent as 2021. One channel had been going back to 2011 posting the same thing. And the person behind this had been interacting with a lot of people in the comments as well, sort of role-playing the idea that it was an 11-year-old. People were theorizing that it was a possible catfish from pedophiles trying to get little girls or little boys online, or, best case scenario, a catfish from feds trying to catch people interacting inappropriately, because the comments of all of these videos were filled with people inappropriately trying to get in touch with this Piper person. So 4chan decided to start investigating it. The most honest and integrity-fueled investigators online, and I'm saying that only half ironically, sadly.
They're better than the FBI.
Yeah.
They called in an airstrike on on ISIS in Syria, not on Syria more generally.
So they ended up doing something called Pipergate, and they published on August 2020 a 33-page report and found that these channels were being run by a 65-year-old man called William Whitaker, who had been arrested previously in 2002 for possession of child sexual exploitation material. He was registered sex offender. He had started after this a child modeling agency called Wizard Productions, where he tricked parents into thinking that if you get me to film videos of your children dancing, then I'll send them off to my connections. He didn't have any connections in Hollywood, and they'll become big stars. And nobody knows what he did with that footage. He ended up getting shut down in 2005, but the police didn't actually do anything to him, despite the fact he was running an illegal, fraudulent business. Of course, he never went to prison over it. So people theorize that he probably either used them for personal purposes or was selling them off. And people were theorizing that these videos were being used as some kind of front to sell images or videos of people, young people. And shockingly enough, some of these videos got caught by the YouTube algorithm and picked up and put on YouTube Kids. So this was actually being put in front of children.
So YouTube demonetize us, but they'll promote that.
Yes. And he has since died, William Whitaker, in 2021. We don't know of what, but it may have been natural causes. But the records that 4chan were able to get access to show that he had been classified as deceased. Okay. So thankfully, the freak running this sort of stuff is gone. He is gone forever. And that's when I move on to somebody who isn't gone, who is still out there. And it is a video that I became aware of, as many people did over the past few weeks. A video by Nick Crowley looking into Smart Schoolboy 9. I was aware of it because people like Juice were posting it. And let's take a look at what is going on in here. So it turns out that this person is somebody who has been running multiple Instagram accounts, all claiming to be small children. Again, 10, 11, 12, school children being administered and looked over by their parents as well. Sorry for the creepy imagery on the screen, by the way. And he was also claiming to trying to highlight pedophilic activity that was taking place on Instagram. Some people theorize that this may have been because he's trying to give it the cover, a legitimate cover. You can trust me, look, I wouldn't be an adult pretending to be a child online because I'm trying to highlight other people doing that. There are a few different accounts that were all interacting with one another, and one of them, Truth Sticks 11, initially started as supposedly the mother posting pictures of a particular child on the Instagram, and it looked relatively normal until, of course, you begin to get some very strange and disturbing edits of children being put on there. So let me...
Oh, I don't want to see these.
Yeah,
again.
some of these are very creepy, so warning to you. Very strange and disturbing edits, many of which ended up being photoshopped onto the bodies of adults or young people in, shall we say, inappropriate positions. So it seemed that this guy was trying to create his own CP.
Weird.
Yeah, it's very, very disturbing. And there were a few videos where you can hear his voice because he's pretending to be the child and he's putting on a child voice. There was also an obsession with this red lipstick, these eyes, this particular haircut, and also in every single one of them, high-heeled mini boots. And this was across multiple different Instagram accounts that were all posting the same kind of content, just pretending to be different children. So it'd be a different face, but always the same obsession with particular things like the briefcase and like the mini boots. Until, of course, everybody found that they connected back to one particular account called Smart Schoolboy 9, where the person behind this was posting pictures of himself.
Oh my gosh.
In this kind of dress, pretending to be a schoolboy with the mini boots that were all interacting with one another. So he'd created a miniature ecosystem for himself to play out his own fetish. And there were some videos where it seemed that he was, shall we say, pleasuring himself to his own reflection. So he's obviously getting off on all of this. And this was on Instagram. These were profiles that were accessible to anybody and everybody. You might end up, if you were a child going through Instagram, coming across something like this. And who knows if he would have been trying to get in touch with you himself. Now, I would say it almost... to be a bit hyperbolic, it seems almost like demonic possession. Mm-hmm. Some of the disturbing videos that he was posting on here seemed to show him out and about in public, as you can see here, filming this. And one of the videos in particular seemed to show him chasing after an actual school child, and some of the photos that he was posting were very clearly taken in school, in playgrounds of children that he must have just gone and taken photos of and put onto his Instagram and started producing videos of. People took a load of notice of this. People started to try and investigate into what this was. On Reddit, for instance, people started to conduct investigations, and they found out that his real name was David Alter, who was a 59-year-old man who had done things in the past like writing articles for the local paper talking about the importance of school uniforms for children. Obviously, he had his own reasons for liking that. And there was rumors that he was also being investigated by the police because he lives in England. He lives in London, I believe. He formerly supposedly lived in Doncaster, and now there's a big load of rumors swirling around about the guy and what's going on with him and whether there is an investigation. It's all being collected in this Dextero article here. So they say the first biggest rumor is that Smart Schoolboy 9 was either driven out of Doncaster for his behaviour or arrested by South Yorkshire City in the 90s. Now, they have actually spoken to the Yorkshire Police, the South Yorkshire Police, and they say that there's no investigation that they can make anybody aware of, and that they said that nothing went on. Initially, Redditors on the subreddit for Doncaster shared what they claimed to have happened to Alter, but questions about him are now being monitored and deleted since the case went viral. Somebody shared a screenshot of one of the threads on the Smart Schoolboy 9 page stating some more information about the supposed arrest of David. Initially, I found a Facebook post from a Doncaster local claiming that David Alter had been arrested. I assumed it was recent, but today I found some other stuff saying that it was happening in the 90s. Screenshots show a post from August 13 asking the residents of Doncaster if they remember the man nicknamed by locals as David Walter Alter. It says, that he got jailed for stalking a teenage pupil attending the local Hall Cross Academy school. Now, again, these are all rumors being posted by people online. But one of the interesting things was that supposedly there's an archive of a Usenet post from 1999 where a writer from Doncaster describes him going to a local Tesco supermarket. So this would have been maybe when he was in his mid-30s, dressed in a schoolboy's uniform, wearing high platform girls' shoes, and according to their account, when the cashier asked if they had a Tesco club card, he replied, "Of course not, I'm only 13, and the person added, "This guy's about 30 years old and over 6 feet tall." So apparently, if you were to see him in public, as people did back then, it was a laughing stock. He was worthy of laughing. It's when it gets transposed online and you begin to start seeing the truly depraved nature of this guy's fantasies that it becomes clear this isn't just some eccentric that you laugh at. This is a guy with some very, very serious abnormalities mentally who needs to be investigated, especially seeing as some of the footage that he has shared seem to be him chasing school children. Very disturbing. Also, David Firth, the man who was the creator of Salad Fingers, has responded to somebody messaging him saying, "Well, you're from Doncaster. Do you remember this guy?" And he said, "Yeah, I think I remember him walking around town in the late 90s or early 2000s when I was at Hall Cross School." So that's interesting that there seems to be different corroborating reports, even from somebody as high profile as David Firth, saying that, yeah, this guy used to be out and about. We just don't know exactly what's going on with him. But given the fact that this guy is posting essentially illegal material online, some of it created by himself, and that we've seen how deep some of these rabbit holes go, like with the Pipergate situation, where there is a distinct possibility that it might be a front, these profiles, for much more sinister activity going on beyond just the surface level fetishism and disgusting nature of the content that's being posted. Yeah, I hope that this guy is being looked into. People say that there is an investigation going on, but it doesn't seem that anything is being confirmed as of yet.
He's still actively posting.
I don't know, actually, if he's actively posting still, because I don't think the accounts exist anymore. After this went viral, I looked on Instagram to find the accounts that it was referring to, and I couldn't find any of them. So I assume, now that he's more well-known, that he's decided to delete all of them, but who knows if he's going to stop doing what he's done, because he might just move on to create some more accounts that people don't find immediately. But yeah, that's the dark side of the internet people don't like to think about. I don't like thinking about it, but it's always worth knowing about, because, yeah, there are creeps online who do very disturbing and very deranged things that children should be kept away from.
Children don't need to be on the internet.
Certainly not.
Wow, that was horrifying.
It's grim.
I already knew about the Schoolboy 9 stuff, but I didn't know about the other case as well, and it's just even more depressing. Oh, there's a comment there for you, Calvin, by the way.
That's a random name. Doing a drive-by. Goodbye to Calvin. Keep up the great work, and I hope you'll use your American freedom to tell the truth to powers, to the orcs who have infested the UK. Also, the web is dark and full of groypers. The web is dark and full of groypers, unfortunately. The web is not always a good place, but thank you for the shout.
What you've just said is the web is dark and full of Mexicans. I don't know if you've seen the typical groyper.
Are they all Mexicans?
They're shockingly over-indexed in the movement.
Really?
Yeah.
Is Fuentes a Mexican? What's his?
Yeah, he's a gay Mexican, yeah.
That's libel. I don't think he's out, is he?
He's allegedly.
Yeah. I've only heard rumours.
Okay.
Well, he does say having sex with women is gay, so...
That makes him gay.
By default, yeah. I hope you appreciated that segment from the podcast of the Lotus Eaters, and if you want to see what else we're up to, you can follow Connor's series, where he talks to lots of prominent people in the Westminster political sphere. Here he's talking to Ben Habib. And if you want to see what else we're putting out, you can follow us on Twitter, where we post links to all of the work we're doing. Thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.